Hi, this is Troy Wolverton with another edition of Video Tech Files. This week we're talking about Lion, the latest iteration of Mac OS X. Lion became available recently. It's available for about $30, and it represents an effort by Apple to introduce many of the innovations that it pioneered on the iPhone and the iPad to its Macintosh computers. So among the different new features and programs that you'll get with Lion are Launchpad, which is a reworking of how you access and organize and launch applications, FaceTime, Apple's video chat software that it pioneered with the iPhone 4, and the Mac App Store, which works a heck of a lot like the iPhone App Store. When you download an application from the Mac App Store, which provides kind of a central location for getting Mac apps, the Lion computers will install that application automatically, and it will tell you whenever you need an update. Actually, many of these iOS innovations are welcome changes to the Macintosh operating system, but some work better than others. I really liked the Launchpad and I really liked the Mac App Store, but others don't work quite as well. One of these, for instance, is full screen applications. What this means is that instead of having the traditional menu bar at the top of the screen that you've always had in Mac OS, that disappears, and so an application can take over the entire real estate of a screen. That's really useful when you have a laptop because of the small screen size on a laptop. The problem with it is that there's no easy way to get into these full screen modes. So there's no gesture swipe that you can do that sends an application full screen. Instead, you have to either click a button or remember a kind of complicated 3-key combination keyboard shortcut, which isn't even consistent from application to application. Unfortunately, when you're switching between full screen applications, you actually don't just stick within full screen applications as you would on an iPhone or an iPad. You also switch between full screen applications and desktop spaces. So you may go from a screen where you have one application that's taking over the entire screen to a screen where you have 3 or 4 applications running against a desktop background like you would in a traditional desktop environment. This effect can actually be jarring and kind of disorienting and even confusing. And it represents one of the ways in which these new iOS innovations that have been brought to Mac OS X don't always work great. Other innovations within Mac OS X Lion include a wider support for gestures. So in addition to being able to use fingers to scroll on a page, you now can use your fingers to be able to zoom in by pinching to zoom, or be able to access something called Mission Control, which lets you see all the different applications that you have open and running at any one time. The problem with the gesture support, though, is that unless you have a trackpad, you can't use and access all those different gestures. Many Mac users might be on desktops where they have a mouse. And although Mac's mouse is touch sensitive, the Magic Mouse, it doesn't support as many finger interactions as does a touchpad. Altogether, all these new features add up to some neat changes to Mac OS X. They're not revolutionary, but they are well worth the $30 price tag. I'm Troy Wolverton with Video Tech Files.